And we are back on this Monday edition of the Doing All Right. Appreciate y'all for tapping in with us. We love y'all so much. For everybody that tuned in last week to the interview, the Dave Campo interview, thank you very much. Dave said that he enjoyed us kicking it. I think everybody enjoys kicking it with Broaddus, and he said that he'll be back.
He will be back. So, yeah, he was excited. He really he loved the questions. He says your questions were very good. You teased that you were going to ask some really good questions, and he said, Voch asked some really good questions. You never know when you're like in these situations and you never work with somebody and they're asking questions, and then you walk out of there feeling like, damn. That guy made me think a little bit.
I would be upset if I asked Dave Campo hot dog or corn dog. Like, I would feel terrible if I asked him that. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I would be asking, I ain't got time to ask.
Is it the hot dog or the bun?
I don't have time to ask if you like pineapples on pizza. I don't particularly care. You know what I'm saying? I got shit to ask.
Oh, no, I tell you what, there's the thing with Dave is a fun guy, but also, though, it's just a good opportunity. Dave can go back. He goes back, the 3 Super Bowls and stuff like that. And the Darren Woodson stuff. I'm always fascinated by, and what he thinks scheme-wise and stuff like that with what people are trying to do. So, we'll have Dave on back and do some stuff. I'd like to see him do some stuff breaking down some of these defensive backs for us too. What he's looking at, we can put him up on the board and give it a go that way. Speaking of breaking down guys, right?
Man, Bryan Broaddus.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, because we got some players today.
Yeah.
We're going to do players. We're going to do players tomorrow. Y'all just stay tapped in. Bryan, I'm going to read 2 tweets.
Okay.
Spotrac tweeted.
Okay.
Javonte Williams, 3-year, $24 million extension with the Cowboys. $16 million guaranteed.
Yes, sir.
That's 2 years. He'll be 27.
Right.
Running backs typically fall off around 27, 20.
27 years old, right.
The next tweet from Spotrac, Javonte Williams becomes the 16th highest average paid running back in football with the deal. The 16th highest average per year, while his $16 million guaranteed money ranks at 14. Yeah. It's right around average for everything. The money-wise is right around average. Bryan, what you think about the deal? Mm-hmm. What do you think about the player? And then me and you will kind of go back and forth around the state of the running back room.
Your namesake that you like to use, Adam Pacifica, got a little busy.
Shouts out to my guy Adam Pacifica.
Yeah, got a little busy before they got to the combine for this week. So when you look at overall where the deal falls, boy, I think it's in a beautiful spot for the Cowboys. I'm also looking at it in a way too of I'm a guy that looks at over the cap as well. So you got Spotrac and over the cap, both I think do a quality job when it comes to giving you an idea what these guys are making contract-wise. I know on over the cap, Williams' number was right over $10 million a season is where his valuation.
His valuation, yeah.
Yeah, it very similar.
So around the league, they would say that he's worth $10 million.
Around the league, they would say his contract, he's worth as he plays, he's a $10 million a year type player. Gotcha. And very similar this year to what you had with Breece Hall with the Jets, who a lot of people were like, whoa, wait, go sign Breece Hall, go get Breece Hall, that kind of thing. So here you have, 2 backs, both, I think, good backs in the way that they played last year. And the fact that you were able to get him for, say, $2 million less a year, I think is a good deal for him. It gives him a little bit of security, but it also gives the Cowboys a little peace of mind. And listen, Voch, we've been it's the off season of, it's different. It's different the way they've hired coaches. They told us they were going in early. Before it even started, before we were starting to talk about George Pickens, they were telling us we're going in early on Williams. Yeah. They did, and they got it done. Good for them. They've got a lot of work still to do with the Pickens stuff for another day, but I was happy that they were able to get that done. But I'll tell you one thing though, we're going to get into some running backs as we have, and there's some guys I'd also like to take a look at. Now, we're going to get into the room too. That's another avenue I think that will be interesting to kind of evaluate as well.
Brian, there are some people on the internet, and I ain't saying these. Oh, I'm sorry. I ain't saying these people are goofy or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
Everybody got their opinion. Shouts out to having an opinion. But there are some people that weren't fans of retaining Javonte Williams for an amount of money of that. You know what I mean? They would have loved it if you could have gotten Javonte back for a similar deal that you got him for in the first year, for like the minimum $38 a year. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. So you're kind of tasked with the Cowboys, right? And this is where I'm giving them credit. You're kind of tasked with, okay, do we bring this trusted asset back for more money, or do we shoot the dice and gamble again? I don't want the Cowboys shooting dice and gambling again.
Yeah.
Think about this, Brian. If Javonte Williams didn't emerge, and everybody's saying, but Voch, with this system that Clayton Adams can run, with these two wide receivers, with this interior offensive line or whatever, Brian, imagine this world where you go into the 2025 season and your running backs were Miles Sanders, Jaydon Blue, and Phil Maffa.
Yeah.
And Lipke.
Yeah.
Hindsight, we would feel decent about that.
Feel decent.
Not hindsight, but just going into it.
Yeah.
I guess like preemptively or whatever, we would feel decent about that.
Better than some years.
Hey, we got a veteran running back that's had production recently.
Yeah.
Jaydon Blue is a young, speedy dude. Phil Maffa's a young power dude. You'd have felt good about the running back situation, Brian.
Sure you would have.
None of those dudes did nothing for you.
No.
Javonte Williams bailed those other three roster spots out.
Bailed the position out. Sure did.
Because we draft guys, Brian, so we can have optimism about Phil Maffa or Jaydon Blue, or their pro personnel guys can have confidence in Miles Sanders. But, Brian, they didn't do shit.
Yeah.
Jaydon Blue ain't do nothing to the end of the year. Malik Davis had to come in and bail you out. That lets you know what running back was this year.
Right.
But Javonte was a trusted asset in, you know what I mean? So, yeah, you could have, I'm just going to spend less money on another running back. We should be fine. For every Javonte Williams that works out for cheap, there's 30 Miles Sanders that don't work.
Right.
And I'm not of the mindset that you could just draft some day 3 guy. Because for every Krosky Merritt, there's 30 Mike Webbers that we'll never see again.
Yeah.
For every Rico Dowdle that's undrafted, is 30 Nate Peets that we'll never see, that just don't work.
Right.
I applaud the Cowboys for having an asset, bucking the trend, and going, hey, man, this dude not just a good runner. He's those dudes I just named. He's those 3 dudes combined. Because he can run, he can block, saved Dak ass a lot blocking.
Sure did.
And he can catch the football, bro.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I think your assessment of them is absolutely right. The one thing that you had, I know myself was really in the draft process was excited that they got Jaydon Blue, and then you started to hear the things. And I want to give, Glenn Smith a lot of credit. Glenn Smith works in the media, and he was talking about, there was some problems with Blue. I think the problems with Blue really kind of stemmed from the University of Texas. I don't know if the coaches at the time with the Cowboys had enough time with him to be able to say the things that Glenn said, that football didn't appear important to him right now. He was having to learn how to be a pro. There were so many things kind of going into it. Not a bad kid, but he needed to do better at his job. And I give Glenn a lot of credit. I think there were a lot of people out there that were very critical of what he was saying, but it actually ended up being true. And, Phil Maffa coming out of camp got hurt, so he didn't get to see the field. So they started with Sanders and they started with Williams. But, Voch, you're absolutely right. They were able, he bailed the Cowboys out.
Yeah.
We're looking at running backs right now, and we would do cartwheels outside our studio here at Crown Global Media if we had running backs that blitz picked up like this guy does. If the guy catches a ball like this guy does, if the guy runs like this guy does. This is a complete back. They rewarded a complete back. They rewarded a guy that actually made their offensive line better. When you look at not just his running style, but everything else that I just mentioned. When Terrence Steele decided that he was going to miss a block, who was there to clean up? Yeah. When you had Tyler Booker maybe a young guy miss a block. Who was there to clean it up in the middle, allow Dak to throw the ball? Or Smith, or Guyton. Any one of those guys, BB. He was there cleaning up the mess when things were happening. And a lot of the big plays you had this season were because of Williams' ability to pick up. He's just not running the ball. He's running the ball, he's blocking, he's catching. That's a complete back. Those are the things that Voch and I and others out there who study this are looking for in these backs. So with good reason, they went out and they spent some money on an asset, a guy that can help them win football games, because this guy surely can help you, and he's a young guy.
Also, too, Brian, I don't want us to fall into the Jordan Lewis mistake again.
Yeah.
Last year when we hear that Jordan Lewis signed for $10 million,
yeah,
that may have sounded like a lot of money.
Yeah.
But when the cornerback dominoes fell, you go, damn, dog, $10 million ain't as bad as this,
No,
as it once sounded.
not for the position he plays.
A starting corner, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think we're going to look at running back by the end of the season and say the same thing. Because I could be wrong. I think Jeremiah Love being drafted top 10, I think he's going to make right around that amount of money, I believe.
Sure.
Something like that. I don't know for sure. But I think Javonte's money is going to get bumped down a little bit more. Brian, we're going to look back at this thing. We're going to go, man, $8 million for a running back ain't bad. You know what I'm saying? One receiver making 35, the other one's going to be making 30, 32, something like that. Sure. And there's a lot of talk around the Cowboys spending money on the two outside guys and the running back, right? I think where the Cowboys are saving money at is on the offensive line, Brian. Like, you have mostly young offensive linemen. Tyler Smith is breaking the bank at guard, but Terrence is cheap for what a starting tackle is, and the rest of your guys are on rookie deals. Right. So if people are trying to figure out, hey, where are the savings on offense coming from? It's coming from your offensive line, basically, and your running back, according to Spotrac, being average amongst paid running backs. And he's a running back that's going to be fantastic in this system, Brian.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think the things that he was able to do with this offensive line, running behind, the patience, the explosiveness, the toughness, these are all things that you just, as the season wore on, you were like, wow, okay, this guy's helping you win the games. Hopefully that there is an emergence from Blue. Hopefully an off season of, hey, it didn't go like I planned. I need to be better. I need to learn how to be a pro. I need to learn how to take things more seriously. Hopefully these young backs come back to, in the spring, have a good spring in the weight room, on the practice field, go into training camp and prove really how talented they really are. But you can't keep having these setbacks when it comes to not knowing the playbook, not being able to study, they can't trust you. If they don't feel like that, these are coaches, if they don't feel like that you are picking up everything, they're not going to put you out there and let their quarterback get hurt or hurt the offense. So this is really going to be a very, very important year for Blue, for Maffa, and anybody else that's in that running back room.
Brian, we got some interesting players. We're going to talk about 3 today. We're going to talk about 3 tomorrow. Then we're going to come back and talk about 4 on Wednesday, because we just get down like that. You know what I'm saying? The nitty-gritty's happening.
Yes, sir.
For anybody that's wondering, Brian will be joining us remote.
Yes.
Come on, Zach, put the thing remote on the screen. You know what I'm saying? So when you at the combine, when you at Indy,
combine, yeah.
I'll be here. I'll be talking to you there. And you'll just be, giving us more information on the fly. But, Brian, we have a fascinating group of players to talk about today.
Yeah.
Malachi Lawrence, David Igbinosen, Devin Moore. I like one of these dudes a lot. I like one of these dudes a ton. I like the other a little bit, and the other dude I think will be fine, but he has some interesting traits and skills. Go ahead.
I'm going to guess you probably like Lawrence the most.
It's not Lawrence, but we're going to keep talking.
Okay.
Brian, let's open it up and talk about Malachi Lawrence a little bit. From UCF. He's kind of one of the guys that were low on the PFF list, so we didn't quite run into him. But social media buzz, Jonah Tolles pulled up in my DM, said, hey, you need to be watching him. I believe John Owning was vouching for him too. And that's kind of how this thing going to work too. Yeah. Like if there's a name that's kind of popular in draft media at the time, then we'll talk about it. I'm sure next week somebody that performed at the combine that we haven't watched, we're going to have to edit and talk about that dude a little bit. That's just the game that we run into. But Bryan, once again, one of these cats way down the board.
Yeah.
Is a couple rounds better than the LT Overton, boy. I don't know what the hell going on, man. But I'm watching Malachi Lawrence from UCF, and I haven't showed you this. I've broken my edges down on my board. So I got edge/linebacker.
Right.
And then I separated edge/defensive end.
Okay, do you see this guy as an outside linebacker? I'll ask that question first because then I'm going to give you an answer.
I think he'll be a standing linebacker dude. I think any of these dudes could be both. I think he'll be best at standing linebacker guy.
I talked to a guy in the NFL yesterday, a scout in the NFL that does Central Florida. He thinks he's an outside linebacker.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. Bryan, the first thing that pops off the film, and man, Bryan, I got to see, this is why I don't like super wordy reports.
Yeah.
Because I'll be talking about somebody else like, oh yeah, he got a good motor.
Yeah.
And that player may not be lazy, and that player may play with good effort and they don't loaf. But I feel like I have to reserve motor guy for people like this.
Who have motor, who have actual motor.
Malachi, and look, don't get, like, for example, like Melo Height plays with a high level of effort.
Yeah.
Malachi Lawrence's motor is stupid, Bryan.
Yeah.
He don't get tired.
He doesn't get tired.
You know how we watch some of these guys in my defensive end edge group? They'll work, like they may have good bursts, but they'll get locked up on and they'll just stay blocked. I don't think I ever seen Malachi Lawrence stay blocked. You know what I'm saying? You may win the rep and he may not make the tackle, but what he's going to do is die fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's an important trait. Yeah. Here's another trait that I think is super important and that I think is rare that makes him special that not a lot of players have, Bryan. He has counters.
He does.
But I don't think he has a plan. Now, what I mean by that, right? If I'm watching Cassius Howell, right?
Yeah.
Cassius Howell will be like, all right, I'm going to rush upfield. I'm going to plan to counter back inside. Malachi Lawrence feels the counter.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I don't see him thinking out there. And he probably ain't got time to think because he's going full speed, right? He's going 100 miles an hour. But it's like when he feels something, he naturally counters it. Yeah. When he feels a hand, he naturally swipes at it. When he feels a hand in his back, he's naturally working back inside, Bryan. You see what I'm saying? I don't think a lot of these pass rushers have this. Some guys are more physically gifted. I think David Bailey, like Melo Height, RM Thomas, I think they're more physically explosive than him.
Right.
I think his explosion, because he is explosive.
Yeah.
I think his explosion comes from I'm just not slowing down. Yeah. In the fourth quarter, I'm just not slowing down. His counters come from feel, and I think that that's special. Pure reaction, right? Rushes at different tempos as well, Bryan. Yeah. I think that's fire. Like he'll fly off the ball, chop and slow something down, then burst back inside a little bit.
See, this is where I disagree with you because I think that's where a plan comes from.
You think that's a plan?
I think that's a plan.
I think it's all field. Go ahead.
I tell you what, you're right though. I think this guy's really a natural pass rusher.
Natural is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, he's really natural. I mean, coming off the ball, where we watch these guys and we watch guys get stuck.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this guy throws more counter moves than any other guy I think I've seen in this draft so far.
Yeah.
I mean, it is like, to me, he's searching. Like, first step.
And that's my point. Look, because there's no way. Look, there's no way at the line of scrimmage he's going to go, all right, outside, spin, rip.
No, he
feels it.
But you talk about the ability, to get up the field and then redirect.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of these guys that get, I'm watching these guys like Lucas. From USC.
Anthony Lucas, yeah.
And I'm watching them and I'm seeing no moves.
Yeah.
And I'm watching Josephs from Tennessee and I'm not seeing moves, and I'm just kind of like, this guy, and the first time I saw this guy was at the East-West practices. Yeah. And like, okay, the level of tackle play, not what you saw on film. Yeah. I mean, in the Big 12, he went up against better tackles. but you watch how he attacks people.
Impressive.
It is. Its first step is explosive. It's to the corner, your hands up, swatting the hands, working inside. Next time I'm going to take you outside. I think he has an idea of what he wants to do.
Yeah, sure.
But the feel, I think you're right about that. But man, to me, he's so disruptive.
Yeah.
And you could watch, I was watching the Kansas State game.
Yeah.
And the quarterback gets outside the pocket on fourth down and is running towards the side to try. And he comes all the way from the other side of the field and runs him down, knocking the ball. The quarterback's trying to and knocks the ball out of the guy's hand.
Sure.
He's that kind of player, the effort. He's relentless in the way. He makes a lot of those splash plays behind the line of scrimmage.
And Bryan, I don't know if he's powerful.
He's not.
But his bull rush catch their ass by surprise.
The run game stuff could be a little bit of an issue for him. And I said this, I think that there's some things that you talk about the power. I don't know about all the strength.
Yeah.
But his ability to rush the passer, that's going to be his calling card until he figures out how to defend the run.
Yeah.
But man, he sure looks the part for the position, 6'4", 247. I mean, he's just so disruptive in the way he plays. I mean, it's explosive to get off and on the tackle in a hurry, but all the moves that he's using to win. And you'll see a lot of these top guys that don't have the pass rush moves that this guy has.
So, Bryan, here's my issue, right?
Yeah.
And this is where I'm a little phony. Not even phony, right? But just part of my process, in case anybody's curious, I place you based on your film and where I'm comfortable drafting.
Yeah.
But I may have to check myself when I start seeing who your peers are in that round or whatever. So, Bryan, this is what I had. I had him as an early 3.
Uh-huh.
But this is my problem. My third round guys are Derek Moore from Michigan and Josh Joseph from Tennessee.
I got him above both those guys.
He is above both those guys. But Bryan, when I read his report, he's closer to R. Mason Thomas and Melo Height than he is Derek Moore and Josh Joseph.
I had Young from Missouri ahead of him.
Okay.
I have him in the third round myself. The guy, I'll tell you why I'm phony. Parker and Falk. That's where I'm phony. When I need to get that situated, or I'm not going to get these edges right.
Yeah.
That's
why I separate them on my board. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that, and it's a good plan.
Sure.
I mentioned Joseph, Tennessee. I mentioned Lucas, USC. Mentioned Moore from Michigan. I think he's better than all those guys in the third round. Yeah. But I don't think he's better than Young from Missouri. That's kind of where I drew the line. Yeah. But man, I got to stop being phony with Parker and Falk. That's where I got to stop being phony.
Yeah.
They're
in my bottom 2s, and I won't have them higher than any of the bendy guys. That's basically where I'm at.
That's see to me, because if you're starting to talk about guys that could rush the passer, Young and Lawrence can rush the passer right now. Parker had emergence at the Senior Bowl, which was encouraging. Yeah. What the hell happened during the year? The whole Clemson team was a mess that way. Yeah. Falk might be in play if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan. Falk might be in play just because he might fit what they're doing. But I feel like I need to see, and I don't know. I don't know. What am I going to see at the combine? What am I going to see at the combine? Am I going to see a more bendy guy and Falk going around the bags? Am I going to see that? Does that translate into him making plays? Yeah. No. That's my problem. That's what I'm looking forward to about going to the combine and talking to some of these scouts and general managers. Like, where is Parker? Where is Falk? Where are those guys on this list? But Lawrence to me is not one of these guys. If you're looking for an outside linebacker, I think you and my scout buddy are right about him being a stand-up outside linebacker. Very, very similar to some guys. I mean, those guys that play in Philadelphia.
Nolan Smith and those guys.
Yeah.
If he's going to be in the third for me, Bryan, it's at the top of the third. It's going to be 1-3.
Do you have Young in the second from Missouri?
I got him in the third.
You got him in the third, but you got Lawrence ahead of You got Lawrence as like a 1-3-0 on your board.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's I think that's a very fair grade. That's 1-3-0 would be the top of the third round.
Top of third. And if you take him late second, like I get it. Like if you're just not gonna because he's not gonna be there in the fourth. You know what I'm saying?
Can you power rank? I say power rank.
Please.
Can I say stack?
Okay.
Stack height from Tech, R. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma, and Lawrence.
That's my order.
That's your order.
That's my order. Height is my second guy in the second round.
Yeah.
Howell's my first. R. Mason Thomas is my third guy in the second round, and Lawrence would be the first in my third round.
So you got height over Howell from Texas A&M.
So right now is Bailey in the first.
Yeah.
Second round, Howell, height.
Okay,
R.
you
Mason
only have one first round grade then.
just one.
Okay.
Because Ruben Bain is in my defensive end edge group.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Gotcha. Okay, I see what you did there.
Yep. Brian, let's quickly talk about the Florida corner so we can really talk about our feature presentation.
Okay.
Devin Moore.
Yeah.
I do like him, Brian.
I do too.
I do like his height, his length, and he seems to have a nose for the ball, Brian. Kind of gambles a little bit, but go ahead, tell us about him, Brian. Devin Moore.
Let me get to Devin Moore here.
There's a lot of good corners in his.
Yeah, there are a lot of good corners. I know there were some people kind of reaching out to me about, hey, you need to see this. You need to see this kid from Florida. He's 6'2", he's 198 is what he's listed at. He plays both sides of the field, but mainly will line up in the boundary as when you watch him play. He's got athletic ability for his size. I think he's a very fluid in the hips with his movement. I mean, I've seen him pedal and then turn very easily. It doesn't take much for him to get out of his pedal and then turn. There's times where you see him playing zone coverage where he's up, he turns, he bails, and he goes. He could play sideways very well. And I mean sideways, running sideways to kind of take some routes. You see him fall off in coverage to help teammates. He's got a feel for how to play around the receiver. On the goal line, he played the slant this way. I was watching the LSU game, the Texas game, the Georgia's game. And he has the ability to kind of play around because of that length. I think that he has some versatility. You line him up in the slot. I saw him carry some tight ends in some routes. I felt like he was a smooth mover. Really good back pedal for position, comfortable player when it comes to playing man or zone. Like I say, he can line up tight. He could jam in off coverage. He could pedal. He could drive on the ball. He can make up ground when necessary. I like the physical presence he has at the point of attack when that ball's in the air. He's been injured a lot in his career. This is the thing that people are going to have to check with him. He's had a shoulder problem in 22. He had a shoulder problem in 24. He's had a back problem, and he's had concussion problems in 23. So he actually started all the games this year, so that was a first for him. But, man, this is a big-time player with his length and I think his football IQ. I have him in the third round on my board. I have him on the top of the board. Matter of fact, I'm going to kill a lot of people here. I like him better than Chris Johnson. I have him better than Neal, and I have him better than Everett. Okay,
that makes sense. Let me see. Let me touch on some things that I didn't hear you say. You know what's strange, Brian? I think he has the potential to be better in man, but I think he's much better at zone.
Sure.
I think he's better when he kind of gets to float around and go run to the football.
Yeah.
He's really good at that. You know what I think about these long corners, Brian? I just want to make them cover three guys. You know what I'm saying? I want to make them, turn their backs to the sideline and just run. But that's what he's good at.
Yeah.
Super aggressive when the ball's in the air, Brian. I love that a bunch. Great ball skills. He'll look over his shoulder and find the ball. He has a really good feel for timing the wide receiver's hands and all this kind of stuff, Brian. I think this is why I think he'll be better at man one day. So he has a lot of room to grow.
Yeah.
I love him at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
With them long arms.
Yeah.
He's really physical at the line of scrimmage. And to be 6'2", he turns really well.
He does turn. That's sometimes you get when you're a tall guy, you get leggy.
Yeah.
And it's hard for you. We've seen it before. The Cowboys have drafted tall corners and they haven't been able to turn and adjust. I think we got some in this draft that can do that.
Yeah.
That's what I've been encouraged by.
Sometimes he will get grabby though.
He will.
But that's coaching, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know what is he coaching for? As far as the run game, I mean, he'll come up and dive at somebody's legs or something. You know what I'm saying? He'll come up and do that. But good speed, good hips to be lanky, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, cool. And just what you said, Brian. I got a 3 on him. This is where I'm at with it, right? Over time, I've eventually put some of my shorter, can't turn as well dudes in the 3rd round. I just kind of bumped those guys down.
So you got Neal and Everett down there with him? Is that?
I got him higher than Rivers, Pond, Neal, and Everett.
Okay, so you got him. So you got the shorter corners. See, I kept the shorter corners at the bottom of the 2nd round. Rivers and Ponds. If you gave me a choice, I'd take Rivers over Ponds of the shorter guys.
Yeah.
And then in the 3rd round, then I kind of took the guys that maybe the Neal and the Everett. But listen, I'm going to die on the Chris Johnson hill. I'm going to die on that hill. I know there's a lot of people that have him as possibly a late 2nd round guy. Until Chris Johnson shows me what he's going to run, then I'm going to. And I went with it last year. But what happened? Where did Will Johnson get picked from?
68 or something.
2nd round, right?
Round, yeah.
We initially we talked about him as a guy that was going to be taken in the top 5, right? Oh, Cowboys are going to take. Guy played well, but what did the league start to do? They didn't know what he ran. But, and we'll see. Maybe he's the test case going forward that all of a sudden now it's like, well, if these guys don't run, but if the tape says this, you just go ahead and take him. Until Chris Johnson shows me he's going to run. I think Chris Johnson will run. I don't know if he'll be at Indy this week, but I have a feeling, though, I'm going to get a time on him. The tape is good, but I like Moore's tape a little better. And you mentioned about being grabby and clutchy. He could be a little of that as well. You're right.
Brian, you said something to me earlier today. You said, Voch, man, I was watching such and such player.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to be your hybrid nickel guy.
Yeah.
Brian, I got a 2 on Davison Igbinosun.
Okay.
Got a 2 on him.
Okay.
Brian, let me tell you why, Brian. I watched a lot of his games, man.
Yeah.
Because he did a little bit of something different in every game. I like that. I kind of like how smart he was in zone, Brian. I think he was very physical in man coverage. I think he's really good working with the sideline when he's doing man stuff, which makes me feel like, because it's interesting, because he also gambles a little bit too.
Yeah.
I think he'll be a better boundary corner because it's more sideline for him to work. So I don't see him as much as a field guy.
Yeah.
It's also interesting, Brian. One game I saw, he was playing against an orange team, maybe Syracuse, something, I don't know. I saw, or Clemson, I don't know, whatever it was. I saw him play in the nickel a whole bunch.
Yeah.
I saw him play in the nickel a whole bunch, and I think he was best at nickel. I think he can play man and zone in the nickel. I think he's particularly better at man when he's a boundary guy, when there's less field to work with. And yeah, let him play zone when he's on the field side because there's more room for him to see and come up and react. But Brian, he's very aggressive in reacting. But I think he's aggressive because he sees it pretty decently.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
He will gamble though.
He will.
He'll gamble jumping routes, and he'll also gamble. This gamble I don't mind a little bit because you could just coach this out of him. He'll gamble on these run plays and these bubbles sometimes. Yeah. So he may be in coverage or whatever, and a ball carrier come up. You'll see him leave the corner. You'll see him leave the receiver a little early just to come up and make a play on the ball carrier. Fine, I'll live with that. Brian, they also blitz him a whole bunch.
Sure.
Ohio State blitzes him a whole bunch.
Yep.
He's gotten some hits and some pressures or whatever. I don't know if he's gotten sacks from it. Maybe one of these games I didn't watch. But they blitz him a whole lot, Brian. So as I'm listening to Christian Parker talk, this is a dude that when he blitzes, he's like an edge. And he plays some linebacker lane. He comes up and tackle versus the run. And he's not like a liability in the run. He got some good length. I think he like 6'2" or something, Brian.
6'2", 192.
He can run around with them tall tight ends or them big receivers in the slot, Brian. And he can play outside if you need him to. Brian?
Do you think he's better than the kid from do you think he's better than the kid that we've got that we got projected from Miami, Scott, playing the position?
Yes, I got Scott with the safeties.
That's what I'm saying.
I got Scott.
Would you project this guy to play safety, or you think this guy's a corner?
I got Scott in the safety. Igbonosen's a corner for me, though.
Okay.
Igbonosen's a corner.
Because you kind of described that hybrid safety player guy.
But see, the problem is, though, I think Igbonosen is a much better cover guy than Scott is.
I would agree on that.
Scott's like a football player.
Right.
And probably will play more linebacker than anything. linebacker / safety / you know what I mean? Yeah. So I got Scott in the 3rd round. I got Igbonosen around the bottom of the 7, Brian, because just watching his game.
Bottom of the second?
Second. Pardon me.
No, yeah.
Bottom of the 2nd, because I think he's so versatile, and he does so many jobs, and I think he does many of them at a high level. And when you listen to people talk about, or Christian Park talk about what the nickel back he wants, I'm watching this dude, and he doing all them jobs.
Yeah, I disagree with you on this player.
It's cool.
This guy's made a ton of starts.
Yeah,
he transferred from Ole Miss, so he's made over 53 starts in his career. I mean, he's played a lot of football. There are things you absolutely are right about with this player. I love the length. I love how he's able to get up tight on the receiver when it comes to using his hands, jam, redirect. You go back and you can watch him in the Senior Bowl drills. You could watch him play playing up on guys' physical, press coverage during the drills. I think he's got the same ability when it comes to playing off. The thing I worry about this kid is he is really, really grabby. He is grabby in the way he plays. He had over 30 penalties called against him this year when it came to coverage and coverage snaps and stuff like that. So they're going to have to coach this out of this kid. Like you cannot be a guy that goes out there and that's what you're going to do. But we talk about the press, we talk about the length, but you watch his hands. He is constantly fighting with a receiver. That's cool, fighting, but then let him go and then find a way to kind of get yourself back in position. But the whole way down the field, I think another problem this kid has is I don't think he finds the ball particularly well. I don't think he turns his head. There'll be times when you watch the ball go down the field and he's focused on the receiver and not focused on looking back and finding the ball. I think that's what gets him in trouble with this. So somebody's going to have to coach him out of this, or he's going to have to learn. If he doesn't learn, he's not going to be any good to you getting penalties. That's just going to be a big problem. So I think that there's a willingness for him to play forward. I think you got him right that way. I think he wants to tackle. I think he wants to throw his body around. More shoulder strikes than wrapping up at times with this guy. But he's played in some big-time games, and his length and the ability to make plays is impressive. I think that though, he is if he turns into where he's constantly holding, that is going to be a problem for him. I put him in the 4th round with my guys down below all the guys that I just did. I just worry about him coming in the league and having those issues and them not getting it out. So I have to see. I'm willing again to die on that hill about this player because I do think he's got some quality traits to his game, but the penalties, the grabbiness, and not locating the ball is an issue for me for this particular player.
Hey, Brian, people say that we don't disagree enough, man. That's a large disparity.
That is.
I think he's a guy that, to be fair, he's a 2 on my board.
Yeah.
I think in real life, I don't think he'll go in the 2nd round.
Oh, he probably will. I mean, now listen, let's be honest.
No. I say that because he has a lot of corners in that 2nd round with him.
Yeah.
That's probably going to bump him out of that or whatever. But I think if he goes to a team that'll use him properly, I can see him being.
See, what's weird for me is, though, the 2nd round corners is I have those short guys in that. I have the Duke kid, I have Pons in there and Rivers and those guys. So it's very unlike me to want to play with those short guys. I just saw guys that, to me, I could play him in the slot. And you mentioned about Igbonosen. He can play in the slot.
Sure.
He can. But like I said, I just like those guys, the Pons, the Rivers.
Under River,
the guys that we just talked about there in the 3rd. I do. It's a big drop.
Yeah.
Man, he is a good looking player though. He is, but man, if I'm going in thinking I don't know if a coach tells me, hey, I could coach him out of that, boy, I'm going to have to trust you there. But I could not put him above those guys because of the grabbiness and not finding the football or getting his head around to find the football.
Man, Brian, this is a fantastic conversation back and forth. I want everybody to put your thoughts in the comments or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of let us know where we at. Brian will be watching.
Yeah.
And I'll be in the live chat and all that, just kind of seeing what y'all say.
Absolutely.
This is one of the ones where I would like to hear the discussion behind them. Tell us about Malachi Lawrence and tell us about Igbonosen. I'm going to say his name wrong the whole time.
No, Igbonosen, you said it right.
Igbonosen. Tell us what you guys think about them. What'd you say?
Davison Igbinosun.
Davison Igbinosun. Yep. We got 3 players that we're going to watch tomorrow. Then we got 4 players that we're going to watch on Wednesday. Our 3 players tomorrow. Y'all just get ready for this, okay? And then we got questions as well. Kyle Lewis, the linebacker from Pittsburgh. Le'Veon Moss, a running back from Texas A&M, and Genesis Smith, the safety from Arizona. Why you smiling at Genesis Smith?
Interesting study for him.
He don't want to talk to nobody, but we'll talk about it.
Well, you nailed that one.
CrownGlobalMedia.com.
You're way ahead of
CrownGlobalMedia.com. Hey, Voch, where can I find?
Yeah, where can I find?
Find it on CrownGlobalMedia.com.
Get your hat.
The link to the merch, boom, we got right there. We're really trying to push our scouting notebooks.
Yep.
Please go get those, the Stack Scouting Notebooks.
Yep.
Appreciate y'all supporting those. You can get any logo on any piece of clothing that you would like. So go out there and hey, run free. Have yourself a good time. Appreciate y'all for helping us out in that way. CrownGlobalMedia.com. Be sure that you're following him over there because he's likely going to be giving combine updates.
Be standing next to Jerry's bus.
Yeah, he's going to be
making sure who's getting on and off.
So please tap in with Brother Bryan over there. And I'm Voch Lombardi on Twitter. We'll catch y'all next time. Crown.